Sorry, I accidentally turned off my laptop. So let's get back. Third, I want to bring architecture and design within a wider social discourse, not just a simply empathetic point of view or a compromise point of view, pero beyond the limited perception ng elite pedagogic circles natin. So, yun nga, nag-risk yun to not adhering to our requirements, pero yung requirements or logic ng isang pag-iisip na yun that is beyond our elite pedagogy. So I tried confirming my thesis dito sa school natin, and actually it was actually confirmed that um, most of what we do are based on a Western knowledge base. But what makes our school different is we attempt at design exploration. So hindi lang tayo traditional, pero we also question um, our current what do you call this? What is currently available. But my argument nga is we still conform to that long line of the requirements of science and Western philosophy. So sabi naman ng isang prof, is it really that bad? So I say that science and Western philosophy are not bad. Ang daming achievements and I'm not denying that. Yung point ko lang is when we follow these requirements, achievements, concepts, meron tayong nire-repress na isang knowledge that we possibly can be the founders of. So that may make us different from the attention that is given in European schools. And then, yung attention natin sa iba naman. And lastly, sabi ng prof na yun is, I can use this counter knowledge to infiltrate the architectural world. Sabi ng isang prof, am I proposing new procedures or is this procedure really destructive by nature? So, I'm trying as much as possible to bring it to the limit. Baka pag in-apply mo tong procedure na to, you will get disappointed. You will get incomplete results. You will get no sense. So, that possibility, di ba? Parang mahirap sa ngayon pero we have to risk this state. And then yung isang prof, sabi niya, there is really a politics of evidence and narratives. So kung nga yung evidence natin ngayon, yung hinihingi is something consistent. Something that shows a pattern. Pero what if yung phenomenon or subjectivity sa isang area is it doesn't work that way? What if it happens in like a matter of seconds, a matter of 2 days? So na-neglect na natin yung possibility na yun because of our bias with this consistency. And sabi ng isang prof na I should try not to just create a variation or a compromise translation and try to risk seeing the end of architecture. So what does it look like? So what we mean by the end is hindi na nga to receptive sa atin. Like it's we kind of find ourselves on a cliff, 'di ba? Tipong we are obsolete and there's this knowledge base at the end of that cliff. So I just got confirmations in foreign schools. So this was conducted in ETH Zurich, and it was dispersed in 6 leading architectural schools. So they basically confirmed that we have a tension between the demands of the economy and the demands of the scientific framing of academia. Kasi they want to know kung productive yung course. That's why they prescribe certain requirements sa atin na that would try to test yung productivity natin as a course. Pero this affects the way we do other projects. And this affects the intent of design. Kasi yung intent of design is to to break sometimes boundaries, is to propose sometimes by way of beyond logic. Hindi pa natin ma-explain, but we are designing first before we explain it, before we articulate it. And this is what makes it different from the scientific and traditional frameworks. That's why there's that tension. And they also confirm that there's really a epistemic culture. So those are the studio cultures that have a what they call an implicit knowledge. So parang sila magkakaintindi when it comes to create, when it comes to consultations. So hindi mo lang pwedeng ilagay sa isang criteria kung naging efficient ka ba sa pag advise or sa pag-create. That's why crit and studio cultures have a big responsibility. Kasi they hold this implicit knowledge that makes them, for example, different from other studios. Then I want to talk quickly about my method. So my method is a genealogical method. So it's really a method of suspicion and critique, an array of defamiliarizing procedures and reconceptualizations. So it follows from the tradition of suspicion and critique na sinimulan ni Friedrich Nietzsche, German philosopher, in his writings versus Western philosophy and the church. So yung task niya is to uncover contradictions and tensions acting behind apparently neutral aims and motives. So hindi naman how do you say this? Hindi naman i-admit ng church or Western philosophy na nagkamali sila sa isang bagay or yung bias nila ganito ganyan. So where will we cannot just merely find it in documents, but we have to create a suspicious intent. Kaya kailangan natin mag-critique. And then yung ginamit ko na ethnographic method, I find it best kasi nako-confirm ko on the ground and na-immerse ako sa problems ng thesis. This is my framework. So visually makita natin na surrounding architecture school is science and philosophy. And then yung goal natin is to just extend the accuracy, elaboration, and verification of our paradigm. Tapos, makikita natin na even if we have been exploring design, even if we have been doing design exploration, speculation, provocation, logic, and systems, bumabalik pa rin tayo in a state of repetition kasi we are just confirming our own paradigm. So you can see I'm trying to break this paradigm through the historical build-up. Yung genealogical analysis na ginawa ko, which you can see nag-intersect siya in certain events. And then it's trying to elaborate what is happening. Kung may contradiction na nahanap, may tension, and yes, it's trying to do that. And then makita natin, we have attempted actually to go outside our paradigm. Pero it came in the form of errors, failures, deletions, and destruction. So baka the only way to get there, or maybe people have, or students have gotten there, pero nawalan na sila ng gana. Kasi, di ba, parang naging error na, naging destructive na siya, and hindi na siya grasped ng paradigm natin. So makita natin na tinatry niyang i-hook or i-net yung mga attempts na yun. So gusto kong alamin kung ano yung tong nasa kanan, kung ano itong knowledge base na to, how it works. So I might have to use reason against itself. I might have to use logic against itself. So I might have to create a system that is illogical, a system that is anti-system, an architecture that is anti-architecture. So hindi lang siya, it's not simple dialectics, pero paano natin malalaman na it's not simply dialectics? It must disappoint. It must be in the form of incompleteness. It must not confirm even. So how I'm still figuring out, but that is where I am so far. So ayun, I think limited ako ngayon sa ethnographic research ko in our school, and I am still reading a lot of into the history and into the history of science and Western philosophy. And yeah, I'm still in retrieving more information regarding naman sa mga ginagawa ng architects sa Europe tungkol dito, if ever there is. Because as of now, wala pa akong mahanap tungkol sa architecture, pedagogy, and Western ethnography. I mean, why would they admit it, right? So, similarly, I need that genealogical process, genealogical analysis, para i-uncover yung mga yun. That's it. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you po for listening.